What's up, communists out there? Let's just admit it, call it what it is. And we're creating a nightmare for the future. And, it's Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib and AOC. I love them. I'm on board. If you're afraid of that, things like universal health care, then get used to being afraid, I guess. Because it's not going anywhere. It's only going to build and grow. And if you're scared, really hammer out your fears specifically so that you can prepare. Because communism in the past, Mao Zedong killed a bunch of people. Stalin killed left and right. Do you think AOC and Rashida and I are going to kill you? That's an interesting fear. Do you think I'm going to take all your money? Do you think I'm going to raise taxes on the poor? Why would you think that? I want to raise taxes on the super uber ultra rich. Is that a communism or socialism? Okay, then if it is, I'm okay with it. I'm not going to get rid of all billionaires. But that's a tax system you could support, and it would not be disastrous. It would be okay to remove people down to less than $10 billion. To say anything above that goes to the commons. To the communists! Anyway, this is because the Love Helix is angry at me because I said no race has a nation. There's a difference between a nation and a race. And so, also race is kind of a bullshit, unscientific concept. Like, we don't have a definition of scientific markers that declare somebody racially different from somebody else. That I know of. So, when I say every country is made up of citizens, every race is not made up of, it's just not a thing. Every country doesn't have a race. Every race doesn't have a country. Take China. China has 43 ethnicities. Love Helix keeps saying, well, they have a nation and they have a race. No, they don't. They have 43 ethnicities. The Uyghurs are as racially Chinese as any of the rest of them, but they're being put in Holocaust camps. That's communism, not me. Except maybe, I don't work. I get Social Security. So I understand your frustration if you're angry at me for working and paying your taxes. And look, I think I need it because of my balance, because of my inability to walk, because of my also unemployability, because of my individuality. And so I don't feel too much shame about it. For what it's worth, the cost of me is distributed throughout society in so much that it's very light, it's diffused. I came up with a new concept today, and I guess this race talk is just going to take so much out of us that what I want to do is squash it so that the wave of it doesn't peak. Because there's a wave towards any topic. Let me just say this real quick. If it goes tangential and it exponentially grows, you could peak out and stop being friends. And that's a possibility. And maybe I've already done that by accepting the label of communist, because I don't care. Call me communist. Fuck you. But instead of going up, let's squash it and let's come back down, because next cycle we're going to get better understanding of one another, because more will have been said. And so in order to squash it, I'm going to give you a new concept. It's called the number set word. We'll call it netword. Netword. In computer science, you can have sets of numbers, and you can call them arrays, you can call them different things. How long are they? Can we Hunamate them? So a oneger is a number, a twoger, threeger, fourger, fiveber, sixger, sevber, eightber, nineber, zotber, wantber, toonber, threenber, fournber, fineber, snixber, zveenber, ain'tber, eintber, twentber, twanber, twoober, tweeber, twarber, twiber. This one's fun. Twevber, twaitber. Maybe you lose the B with some of them. I haven't thought it out and smoothed it yet. I will. I'll get the phonemes in order and then I'll publish publicly what they are. But there's not a word for a set of a certain number of numbers. And so if you have a number, but you have a secret number behind it that you really mean by that number, then maybe that's a tuber. Because your real number in the back is disguised by the front number. So that tuber, hopefully it's not a tumor, because if it grows, it could be a threeber, fourber, fiber, I like fiber, sibber, seber, seber, aber, either eighber or aibeur. My point is just TikToking cuts everything off. You have 15 seconds or a minute. You've got no time in the modern YouTube culture, modern internet culture to say your piece. You can't, I don't have time for it. But Love Helix and I have had time. We've known each other for decades, right? At least one decade. So if you're feeling the hate season come on, that's okay with me. You can hate me for a certain amount of time. But still, we don't define nations by races. We do so by politics and by territory. It's not by race. It's not the case. And if you point to Israel, that is not a counterexample, because Palestinians are within that territory and they're very much a part of that nation. And so if they were to split successfully, then one, Israel wouldn't allow it. They'd keep colonizing. But two, then you'd have two nations. And still, not every Israelite would be of a race, as if Judaism is a race. It's a religion. Racism doesn't make sense because race isn't a great concept. A tuber is a great concept. Race is a crappy, archaic, rude, dangerous concept. Much more dangerous than the type of socialism that I promote. Thanks, guys. Have a good day. Take care of yourself. Goodbye.